So I've mocked up my anchor locker shelf and retaining wall. I've got it held in with a lantern at the moment. Finally kind of got it squeaked away so that I can go ahead and glass it in. I'll give you a look. So that's the wall. Then that's the shelf. You can see I drew the line so I can pull it out, pre-drill, so I can try to screw these together, set it in, and then start tabbing it in. I also made this cool block, cut it. It's going to be for the bitter end of the anchor rod. So I'm going to epoxy this in forward and go ahead and glass it in as well. And then I'll screw a stainless steel D-ring to it that the very end of the rod will attach to. So now it's time to mix up the glass and get to work. So I got my West System 105 and 206 epoxy resin and getting ready to glass in my anchor locker. Got all made up. I've never used this before. That's what everybody suggested to use. It's what I read about and thought it was good. I found out, which if you've used it you know, but I found out that this pump system that they make for it is incredible. It pre-mixes the ratios. So the pump designated at the top, it says resin. It gives you 5-to-1 to the pump for the hardener, which is unbelievable. It's really hard to mess that up. I might, but it's hard to. So I'm going to go ahead and mix them up. I've cut my glass out. Also I have this. This is a little block that I'm going to epoxy in with my West System 610. Really cool stuff. I talked about this before. This is amazing. So I'll be epoxying this in. And that I'll put a stainless steel D-ring that the bitter end of my rod will go to. That way if it flies out, everything takes off, this will keep it from me losing my anchor and setup. So that'll be the first thing, climb in, get that epoxied in, and then I'll work quickly to get everything glassed in. I think I'm going to do, I don't know how much I need. Maybe I'll do like 4 pumps. Hopefully that's enough. Maybe I'll do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need more. 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll see if that'll do it. I mean, I can always just tab it in and then come back and finish the glass work later. I've never glassed in an anchor locker, so it's like, you know, learn as you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is the slow hardener, so it shouldn't kick as quickly. Putting penetrating epoxy on my block. That's going to be for the bitter end. I don't know how well you can see it. It's kind of dark in here. Short days are killing me. This is more of that 610 thickened epoxy that is set up like a caulk gun. It's incredible. Makes life so much easier. So I'm go ahead and gluing this in. Or epoxying rather. And then I'll make glass on top of it. And then after it's all set up, I will put a stainless steel D-ring on it. And shackle on my anchor rod setup. This little leftover ledge is from the shelf. It lends itself right now because it's going to hold this up so I can work down here. It's going to be difficult to get back to this area after I get my anchor shelf put in. pre-drilled it so I could screw it together inside the locker. I think it'll help me hold it up. It's a little tricky. Luckily my little lantern fits to kind of squeeze it where it needs to be, but hopefully them screwed together will help them sit so I can glass all the tabs in and it'll hold it, because it's really tricky. Everything's a different angle. This is a highly precise measurement tool. I think that's where it needs to be. Okay, now I got the little block glassed in. Now it's time to get to the real business. Wetting it up. And again, I haven't done much of this, so you may be cringing right now, but it's not entering any beauty contests, so I think it'll be okay. Trick is going to be like not bumping this thing and knocking it loose once I get everything tabbed in. I think it might come back, I might just tab it in and then come back and do more glass work on it after, so that it's not as much of a risk of destroying everything I've done. There's like not secured in any way other than this little lantern I got propped it up on. So I'm getting ready to spray the anchor locker with bilge paint. I've got this paint sprayer set up. Everything seems happy. And going to go ahead and go in and try to get this thing knocked out. Hopefully I don't make quick business of it. And I can move on to the next thing. So here we go. Well, I got the first coat done. It's pretty tricky up in that tight spot, but got quite a bit of coverage. Got the sprayer did great. It got really, all the way far forward, and I got all the corners and stuff. I'm gonna have to crawl back in there and do some of it with the roller for the second coat, but that's fine. Sure made life a lot easier, that's for sure. But man, this fumes are powerful. Not fun. Now I'm gonna clean up my spray gun and head home. Got some stuff I can work on there. I made a bunch of wood blocks today for the holding tank, so set up and all that stuff, so I can play with that. But yeah, it's a little too fumy to stay in here much longer. Well, I got the first coat on. It's pretty tricky in that tight spot. Fucking bitch. Well, I got the first coat done.